Hello, tappers. Welcome to Tapping Tuesday. My name is Babel, and for the next hour, we are going to engage in EFT, which stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques, also known as tapping. Tapping. So, if that's what you're expecting, then you're in the right place. If you've never been here before, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I'm so glad to get to be here with you today. I'm going to give you a quick rundown of how today is going to flow, and then we will get right into it. So the reason why EFT Universe, which is the company that I work for to do this, has these sessions weekly is for you to experience what EFT is, particularly clinical EFT. And I'll cover what that is in just a second. So EFT is a series of tools that are very simple to apply to calm and regulate the nervous system, to help you detach real-time emotions and responses to past events or fears or concerns of future events. Basically, anything that's not necessarily happening right now that we need our reaction for survival. There's tons of studies on it, lots of clinical outcomes that are very encouraging on things to showcase how it can be alleviating for traumas, phobias, all kinds of deeper related issues than just like a surface level problem. But we're not going to cover any of that here. So this is a space for you to experience it. Reading about it, really cool. Feeling that shift in your body in a very short amount of time isn't really something you can read about and understand. So this is a space for you to feel what EFT is. If you want to know about the science, we do have a channel. We have hundreds of videos on that. It's here on YouTube. Just type in EFT Universe and it'll take you right there. So as far as today, if you would like to participate, there's a few ways that you can do that. One is just by following along, and you don't have to do anything more than that. You will have an experience just by that. You can follow what I do. It's a very simple process. You'll be able to pick it up quite easily. If you would like to contribute to the chat, we have a live chat that goes the entire time. I do my best to stay on top of it and incorporate as many suggestions as I can, and I'll show you how we do that, even if it's not something that you're specifically addressing today, how you can adjust it to fit what's happening in your body, because connecting with that is really important for EFT to work. If it's too vulnerable for you to put in the live chat, which I completely understand, then you can always email me. Now, that will delay it a week. I'll have to bring it up the following week, but I can do that anonymously. Also, you can email me with questions. I typically don't answer a lot of questions during this time just because once we get tapping, it always feels like it's never long enough to tap. So I try to spend as much time dedicated to the session as possible. But I love communicating with you. It is my intention to show up for you and help empower you to feel confident to apply these tool sets to your life and feel success within them. So, and my email is at the top of the chat. I will also speak it. It is Fable, Fable, at EFTuniverse.com. I do have an email from a community member that I just want to express to them. I just sent you a response. I have been penning it all week, just in like little tiny blips of time that I've had. So thank you for understanding that it wasn't immediate, but I really wanted to take time to respond to you. So that's why you probably got it right before this started. And I'll mention that in just a second. But let's go ahead and get grounded. First, I'm going to say hello. So I'll say hi in the chat. Hello, Danette. So happy to have you here. Hi, Lou. Hello, Zarina. Oh, you're so very welcome. I love being here with you. Hello, Greg. I call you Greg. Do you want to be called Greg or Gregory? Do you have a preference? Let me know, because I don't want to shorten your name if that's not the way you prefer it. Hello, Dr. Scott. Hello, Blast Scout. Oh, hello, lovely Blast Scout. I'm glad that you're here too. Okay, and you're feeling overwhelmed by various things at the moment. Awesome. And I love that offer, exactly the way you phrased it, because there is a way to tap on overwhelm rather than having to like select an overwhelm when there's multiple inputs for that overwhelm. So thank you for that. Hello, Sue. Oh, you're very welcome. Okay, and either way is okay. All right, thank you for letting me know. All righty, let's go ahead and do a quick grounding. So let's start just by taking a breath and letting it out. And as you let it out, let your body kind of slump. We're actively trying to send signals of relaxing. And the point of grounding is to try to be as present as possible. And sometimes, depending on our state of being present doesn't feel comfortable at all. And that's okay. Don't force it. We're just inviting and receiving whatever can feel comfortable enough to be present. Okay, let's go ahead and take another breath and let it out. Now just sit. And as you sit, notice your body. Oh, there's a body. Notice your body and notice if your body is telling you anything. Are you noticing that you're tired, that you're anxious, that you're kind of scattered and you're having a hard time focusing? Maybe that you're just kind of checked out and you're having a hard time not focusing, or having a hard time focusing and you're not focused. Are you feeling pain, tightness, just concerns, thoughts about different parts of your body? Are you feeling emotions anywhere? Are you feeling any emotion in your chest or in your throat? Maybe even just all through your body. And we're just noticing. As you notice, let's take another breath. As you notice just the current registry of your body, is there anything that you can do, just a very simple little shift that would feel good? Whether it's shifting your body weight a different way, maybe going to lay down instead of sitting up if you don't have to be sitting, taking a drink of water, grabbing a blanket, putting on a sweater, taking your socks off. Anything that just that little gesture would just feel a little bit better. And if there is something, go ahead and take a moment to do that. Especially if it's go to the bathroom, like go do it. Now's a great time to do that. You won't miss anything, I promise. So as you consider what that might be, just allow yourself to notice your body, offer these little bits of attention. And let's take another breath. And now as we're paying attention to our bodies, let's just notice where we are. Notice where you are in your body. Are you everywhere in your body? Do you go all the way down to your fingertips? Do you go all the way through to your back, from your front to your back? Do you go all the way down your legs and out through your toes? Or there may be some vacant spots where there just doesn't seem to be a whole lot of energy, a whole lot of interaction. And we're not worried about it. We're just noticing it. And are there parts of you that you can feel are kind of out there? Your attention, your focus, your concern, an anchor somewhere. Maybe it's in your past. Maybe it's a projection into the future. Maybe it's current moment, but it's not within yourself. It's out there with someone else. And as you notice that, just send a gentle invitation for those parts of you to be aware and to be included in what we're about to engage. And if it wants to come and be present in this moment in this body, great. If you need for it to stay where it is, also great. Just allow for that connection to be there and say, hey, this is going to be yummy. I'm totally passing that yumminess on to you. Okay. And with that, let's take another breath. Very nice. All right. I saw the chat move a little bit, so I'm just going to check on it. Okay. And Sue, tapping on regret. Thank you for your suggestion. And Lou, a new tapper. Yay. Welcome. It is helping. I'm mainly using it for anxiety and food cravings. Okay. I am a Christian and I have even been tapping to some of my favorite Bible verses. I love that. That's great. That is a very wise way to have tapping have an extended effect when it's something that's new, is to take something that's already meaningful to you. A Bible verse is a great example of that. Any passage in a book, it could be a poem, it could even be a song lyric, even a song that's instrumental that doesn't have lyrics. If it's something that moves you emotionally in a way that feels positive and validating, beautiful way to apply it. So you're doing a great job. Is it Gada? Ghada? If I'm saying your name wrong, I'm so sorry, but I see you and I'm glad that you're here. You are overwhelmed from a highly charged EFT session with one client. Ooh, okay. So I'm guessing from that you are a practitioner and highly charged. If you want to give me more clarity on it, okay, yes, so it is. Got it. Thank you for that clarification. Was it highly charged because the subject matter that was brought up is triggering for you personally, or was it highly charged because the client was just so overwhelmed by what was happening? What part of it is passing that overwhelm onto you? Okay, both. Perfect. Thank you for that clarification. And we've already got overwhelm on the docket, so I hope that this helps. You're in the right place. Hello, Marion. First time in a long time. Oh, I'm so grateful that you're here too. Hello, Peg in Florida. And Lou, tapping to love myself right here, right now. Love that. Thank you for that suggestion. Thank you for the hearts. Leon, I'm guessing for last name, first name, I fear that anything I try to sound out is going to be incorrect. So if you wanted to phonetically spell it out, I would love that. But otherwise, I see you and thank you for your hearts. I wore for him anxiety, worry about an upcoming surgery. I hear you on that. Thank you for your suggestion. And Serena, consistently distracted. Got it. And that actually goes with the our community members request that I got by email, which I'll share now. It is, let's see, my main problem is a form of procrastination. Things I enjoy doing, I don't do because my mind is busy dealing with the last thing. And that is requiring a lot of time to process like the information of it. So just, it seems like sense of overwhelm of things that take a lot of energy to deal with. And then that's getting in the way of doing pleasurable things. I'm just gonna see if there's anything else. I space out or I lose myself on Google. I don't get things done that I enjoy doing. Yeah, and that's very frustrating, which is extremely understandable. So let's see. With these suggestions, let's go ahead and start on overwhelm, just because that will assist anything and everything afterwards. And what I will say is if you feel a prominent emotion, even if there's something very specific that you want to tap on that isn't, your intention isn't just to release the emotion, you want some other type of resolution. If you allow yourself to alleviate that big emotion first, it will make the shift of everything else easier. So there's always value in allowing yourself that validation for what you're feeling first. Okay. So if overwhelm is not something that you're struggling with right now, first of all, congratulations. Focus on any other emotion. That might be something that you would like to shift. So it could be anger, resentment, fear, even grief. It can even be an emotion that's really valid and makes sense for you to be going through, but it's just heavy. It's just really big and it feels really taxing to hold in the way that it's present right now. It doesn't have to be a wrong emotion. Not to say that, and I do this because emotions are signals, rather than necessarily a right or a wrong. All right, so let's go ahead and start tapping. Oh, and one thing I didn't say that I do want to share really fast, I tend to not go through all of the tapping spots very often. And the reason I do that is because my intention is to be very boring. One spot, one acupoint is more than enough to have a release. If you want to go through the other tapping points at your own speed, that is what I would love. Because what I don't want is for you to be in your own process and really releasing something, but then you look up and we're in different spots, and then for you to feel pulled out of that space, that beautiful release that you're having, because now you're going, oh no, do I catch up? What do I do now? That's counterproductive for what you're experiencing. So I tend to stay here or I go here, and you use the other spots at your own discretion. Okay. And I'm here if you feel a bit lost. Um, okay. So overwhelm, or whatever other emotion you're focusing on, replace that anytime I say overwhelm. As I begin to focus in on my body and my mind, I acknowledge this sense of overwhelm. As I acknowledge this sense of overwhelm, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though this overwhelm is big and I don't want it, and I haven't figured out how to get rid of it yet, I still choose right now to deeply and completely accept myself. Even though right now I feel this overwhelm and it does not feel safe, I choose to acknowledge that there are also, at the same time, parts of me that are safe, that I can engage, and that are capable of helping, even with this overwhelm present. And as I consider all parts of myself at this time, I deeply and completely accept myself. This overwhelm, this big overwhelm in my body, this big overwhelm in my mind, this overwhelm that's in the space between my mind and my body. This overwhelm that's really in my way. This overwhelm. I don't want it. This overwhelm. I do want it. This overwhelm. Whether or not There are parts of me that do or do not want this overwhelm. I wonder, what is its purpose? What could possibly be a reason for this overwhelm? Whether I want it or not, whether it's helpful or not, I wonder, why is it here? Why do I feel overwhelmed? Is it because I'm going through something hard? That's possible. Do I always feel overwhelmed when I'm going through something hard? Yes. No. I don't know. I wonder, where did I learn that hard things are overwhelming? Well, hard things are overwhelming. I didn't have to learn that from anyone or anywhere. It's a real experience. When things are hard, when things are too hard, being overwhelmed is the outcome. Okay. So if that is true, if that is my truth, and I accept that, I wonder, at what point is it too hard, too big? Where is that line where something becomes difficult, a struggle, too hard, to an overwhelm hard? I wonder, where's that breaking point for me? As I consider my own boundary, my own definition of how I determine when something is hard and hard enough to be overwhelming, I deeply and completely accept myself. It's okay if I know this answer, and it's okay if I have no idea. And it's okay for me to ask myself questions. Maybe it's really positive for me to learn these things about myself. And if I'm having any feelings that it means that I am next meant to judge myself or blame myself or hurt myself emotionally by saying negative things to myself because of this information, I let all of that go. I choose to learn things about myself so that I can make informed decisions. Because isn't it true that I encounter things that are big, that are overwhelming, that are hard, and I don't have a lot of choice in that sometimes. But the more I know about myself, the more I can support how I feel as I work through this big, overwhelming experience. Yeah, okay. All right. So, when do things become overwhelming? Is it when I'm just physically out of energy and I just can't anymore? Is it when I'm emotionally out of energy and I just can't anymore? Is it when I feel much too vulnerable because mentally I can't figure it out? I don't feel secure enough in the answers that I found. And maybe I can't get any better answers at this stage of things. And I'm going to have to guess. I'm going to just have to do the best I can. And I don't like that. And that makes it overwhelming. As I consider what is overwhelming to me, I deeply and completely accept myself. And I wonder, how can I support myself if I can't do anything about the situation being overwhelming? And I can't do anything about the fact that this moment is overwhelming me because it's triggering one of those spaces that I just thought about. Where's my empowerment? Where can I feel better about it? Well, I have considered the hard parts of my scenario, and I have considered the hard things that I have to engage. But what about my strengths? Am I giving those equal consideration? What about, if anything, what's going right now? Even if it doesn't seem to directly correlate with this overwhelm, do I also have to worry about where I'm going to sleep tonight? Do I also have to worry about, is there any food to eat? Or is there any clean water to drink? Do I have to worry about my safety, being in a place where I can relax and not feel like I might get attacked at any moment? Yeah, but do I consider those things? I mean, are they important? Why does that matter? Why is that something that I'm trying to include right now? That's silly. Even if, as I consider these aspects, I might be having some pushback about their validity, I still choose right now to hold space to be curious. Because isn't it true that it would be harder if any of those things were also a struggle? And isn't it true that what I need right now is some sort of assurance, some sort of leverage to feel better? I wonder what would happen if I just sent the signal to my brain of what is going for me, what power I do have, and just pointed out that as many things as could be difficult and could go wrong, things could be easier and things could go right. And while it's true that right now I don't know, it is fair and makes sense for me to consider both sides. I wonder, why don't I do that already? Why is it so hard to be optimistic? Why is it hard to consider good things? Maybe it's because hoping feels vulnerable. Maybe it's because the current outlook, it doesn't look very good. Maybe it's because someone once told me I would be a fool if I hoped for the best. I would be making myself more vulnerable to a bad outcome if I thought positively. Whatever the reason, I haven't given positivity as much consideration. It really would be a wonderful surprise if I tried it now and it worked. Maybe I'll try it and it won't work. Maybe it won't work at all. And I will feel silly and I'll be a little bit embarrassed. But then I could stop trying. And who would even know? But what if it does work? What if I just, against all odds, choose to feel positive about anything and I feel better? Even if things are still hard, even if it doesn't change my whole circumstance, but I feel better. Doesn't that mean I now have more energy to apply towards my solution? And doesn't that, in a roundabout way, create a better chance for what I'm hoping for? So even if it doesn't solve everything, it solves something. And I can't control everything, but I do have control over trying this. So as I continue to move forward through this difficult thing with all of my feelings that are very valid for me to have, I choose to start to flex this new muscle of finding something positive to ground in as well. And none of it negates the other. None of it's meant to battle each other. Mm-mm. It's still hard. It's still big. It's still overwhelming. That's why having something positive is really helpful. And I'm a complex being. I can have both at the same time. And it is okay for them to have a positive effect on each other. This overwhelm. This overwhelm in my body. My invitation to positivity for my overwhelm as its friend. This overwhelm in my emotions, my invitation for positivity for my overwhelm as its companion. This overwhelm, wherever it currently resides, I also choose to engage positivity as a friend so that it's not alone. I'm not alone. And I can feel more supported, even if the space where I find myself is overwhelmed. And as I allow in my friend of positivity, I deeply and completely accept myself. Okay, go ahead and pause on tapping and take a breath. And take just a moment to notice when you think about that overwhelm and how, when you thought about it at the beginning of the tap, and how it feels now. Is there a difference? Do you feel more relaxed, more open, more relieved? Does it feel smaller? Does it feel more distant? Do you feel more cared for? Do you feel more nurturing within yourself? Do you feel more kindness towards yourself? Were you laughing, sighing, crying, exhaling, shifting your body as we tapped? All of those are signs that as you spoke, your subconscious brain was listening and said, you know what, I like this. This process will be better for us. Let's start changing things so that this is now how we look at it. And it will continue to support that neurology, even though you're no longer tapping on it. So good job. Let's see. Yay. Yay. Good job. Alrighty, let's see where we are going to go next. So reading back through the suggestions. Okay, regret and food cravings. Upcoming surgery, I hope that was a closely related enough tap for that. Distraction. Okay. I think two. Oh, good. Yay. Congratulations, all of you who got. I want to express that when you have that response, I have very little to do with it. And being here as your support person, as a guide, I have phrasing that I offer to you. But even with that, your brain is taking it in and shifting it to be however it fits for your own experience. And I do not have the power to create that shift for your brain. It is imperative that you feel safe, that you feel engaged, that you feel an alignment with what you are doing to have that outcome. And it definitely is. We're working together. I'm not trying to like completely negate, the fact that we're doing this together. But I do want you to recognize that it's so powerful for what you're doing, because it's possible for me to do exactly what I'm doing and for you to not have any experience, depending on how you're showing up for yourself in your brain engagement. So when I say good job, I really truly mean that you are making a big difference for yourself, with that engagement. And I really want you to know that so that you can recognize that and feel good about what you have managed to do, because it is no small feat. It's a big deal. Okay. Um, the way I want to approach all the other suggestions that I mentioned that were given, because they're all fairly different, right? But within the vein of regret, within the vein of any sort of behavior shift that we're looking to do, like overeating, procrastination. Let's see, what was it? What did you say, Zarina? Distraction. There's a lot of self-judgment that can come with that, the heaviness that can really hold things back. And sometimes that heaviness is there because the brain is like, well, this is how we're going to protect ourselves from change. So there can be a lot of layers to just that judgment alone. So tapping on something like, I'm not doing good enough. I'm not smart enough to get in charge of this. I'm hopeless. I'm helpless. I don't understand what's wrong, and I'm stuck with where this is. So feeling a lack of ability, whether you're saying it's a flaw just within yourself of I'm just not good enough, that's why I don't have the ability, or I know I could if I could just get it from somewhere, but I don't know where to look for that ability. So let's tap on ability to bring about what you're looking for. So you can insert anything into this. The way I'm going to phrase it is very broad. So if you select something more specific, that will be better for this tap. So I will phrase it like, as I consider my ability or my lack of ability in this area. And then I want you to think, as I consider my lack of ability in my ability to not procrastinate, my ability to pay attention, okay, to fill in that blank. So let's go ahead and start tapping. Give you just a moment to narrow down what it is when you think about your lack of ability and you're choosing the category. And then as you choose the category, make it as clear as possible, as few words as possible. Okay. As I consider my lack of ability in this area and all of my feelings that immediately come up with it, I choose to deeply and completely accept myself. Even though right now, as I consider my lack of ability in this area, I really, really don't like how it feels. I still choose right now to deeply and completely accept myself. Even though right now, as I consider my lack of ability in this area, I don't know how to make it better yet. And I may not even believe that I can make it better. I still choose to deeply and completely accept myself. We're going to do a little bit of back and forth tapping. So I'm going to say some negative statements, but just trust the process. Go with me on it. I don't actually accept myself. This lack of ability is too much for me to accept myself through. I should know better. I should be better. This should not be my outcome. And because it is my outcome, I refuse to accept myself. It is too much for me to say that it's okay, because it's not. And I won't use words to try and make that different. I refuse. Even if right now, part or all of me rejects this statement of accepting myself, I will choose to hold space. I'll hold space for that to click in at some point, even if I can't find it right now. I choose to create a space for it to exist, just in case I find a way to accept myself. I wonder, how am I so unable to resolve this? Why is my lack in this area so big, so apparent, so present? It's present physically, it's present mentally, it is present emotionally. Wow, it's really big. Why is it so big? Is this the first time, the only time in my life where I've had a lack of ability? No. I mean, I started out as a pretty helpless little baby, completely unable to talk, unable to walk, unable to dress myself. And there are other things, other helpful processes that I have picked up in my life. So why not this? Why am I stuck here? Why do I have a lack of ability here? I wonder, am I protecting something? Am I protecting a belief? A belief of someone that I don't want to be wrong? Even if not wanting them to be wrong is irrational and maybe even inconsequential. But I feel it. Or maybe this lack of ability is protecting me. It's protecting me from the realization of I really can't reach what I want. And if I never try my hardest, if I never give it everything I've got, I can kind of protect myself from that. Because maybe deep, deep down, I really don't believe I can have what I want if I had no barriers. Or do I believe that if I got what I wanted, that's going to come with some danger attached? That not having it right now is protective, even if it's painful, even if it's frustrating, even if I hate it. Maybe it's still better than what part of me believes will happen as a natural consequence if I actually got what I wanted. I wonder. As I consider how this lack of ability might be seen as protection by some part of me, I deeply and completely accept myself. And I wonder, where would I have learned that I needed protection from this? Where in my past have I seen a truth about trying my hardest and not being good enough anyway? About getting what I want, but then being punished for having it? About a negative consequence, even if everything I'm working for is a positive intention? Where did I learn that? Where have I learned to be so fearful? As I consider this, I may know immediately, or I may not really connect with that. I may not be sure that's even applicable to me. But whether or not I know very much where this baggage comes from, or not sure I have that baggage, isn't it true that this moment that I'm in right now is very different than any other moment of my past? Isn't it true that in this moment, I'm more capable, more knowledgeable, more able, even to just change my mind than I ever have been before? Yes. No. I don't know. Whether or not I believe that right now I'm more capable than ever, would there be a way to figure that out? Because it's painful right now for me to feel not capable. It's really painful and heavy to feel like I have this lack of ability. And I do need something to change. And maybe it is true. Maybe it is true. I have to let go of what I want. Maybe it's not possible. Maybe I'm not capable. But I don't know that yet. I don't know that for sure. And maybe that's why it's painful. So, what if, whether right now I understand why I feel not fully capable or not, what if I found a way to test it out? What if I found a way to give myself a different track, to journey on to see if I get more clarity. Maybe that could alleviate how this feels. Okay, but how? How would I even begin to do that? Well, isn't it true that in order to change my direction, I have to change my parameters of action? Whatever I am choosing to utilize to propel myself forward. Okay, how do I do that? What what parameters can I change? Well, what are my current parameters? Do I even know what my ideal parameters would be? Have I even thought about what my ideal support would be? I know my ideal outcome. I know what I want when I get there. But have I even considered how do I feel happy while I try? How do I feel nurtured while I try? How do I feel accomplished and safe while I try? Is that possible? Yes. No. I don't know. Maybe that's where I start. Okay. What if I choose one thing? Just one little thing to be different. Maybe it's how I talk to myself. Maybe it's the parameter, like the distance between steps that I'm demanding before I feel good about myself. Maybe I have an expectation to do good all day. And maybe that's a lot. Maybe it's too big. So maybe I reward myself every 5 minutes. And maybe right now that feels silly, but you know what? Silly is better than discouraged. Silly is better than feeling incapable. And maybe it won't be my permanent choice, but maybe whatever I try gives me information, it gives me input, and it allows me to make a more informed second try. And maybe I learn some things that are really insightful, and all these little bits add up, and I find a way. Because isn't it true that I'm struggling right now because I can't see a way through it? And if I allow myself to be curious and just playful, maybe I can surprise myself with the answer that I can't see otherwise. This issue, my lack of ability with this issue, my curiosity, my permission to try, my value in my own feedback. And as I discover these different parameters, these small little trials, to engage. I continue to hold space to feel really good about deeply and completely accepting myself. Okay, go ahead and stop tapping and take a deep breath. Now take a moment and notice as you think about your ability with this issue and how it feels now versus how it did a few minutes ago. And if you feel more positive, more capable, more open-minded, less bothered, less heavy, all of the other things that I've said before, and all of the things that as you were tapping, if you were sighing, if you were relaxing, crying, any release of emoting, even sweating. Sweating can be a sign. Those are communications from your body, from your subconscious, from your nervous system saying, I like this new track. I'm going to start to build to support that. And it will continue to adjust and offer that to you as you continue. So good job. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I love you each and I appreciate you so much. If you have any questions, please, as always, feel free to email me. I do post a video every Friday. A lot of times those videos come as a result of a conversation that I've had with one of you. And I promise you as well, there are people who comment on those who are like, I never even thought about this, or what a great solution to that. So your contribution is very positive as a whole to the community. So thank you. Thank you for reaching out. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up for yourself and for each other. I hope I get to see you next week. I hope you have a wonderful week in between. If you're not able to make it, know that I'm thinking about you, and there always is a recording if you want to catch up on it later. So have a wonderful week, and I'll see you later. Mwah.